Peach with you again. Alright, we're back from video 1, the commercial break, and now we're going to figure out what happens now. Okay, now if you'll remember from our example from video 1, we had Team A, which was kicking off, meaning they were going to be on defense. We had Team B. They were going to be on offense. They were going to be receiving the ball. Okay, like I said, now what happens? Alright, Team B receiving the ball. For just example's sake, let's say that they caught the ball in the end zone and took a knee. If you're confused about what I just said there, go back to video 1 to make sure you understand. Okay, caught the ball, took a knee, end zone. That means they're going to start from their 25-yard line. Okay, now that they're starting there, what are we seeing happen? Okay, before they even line up, before we have the players on the line, and before we start, we have huddles. Okay, so offensive huddle. Wait, what's a huddle? Huddles, they're kind of forming a circle. The offense kind of, and defense too, forms a circle. Rah, rah, here's what we're doing. Let's go, ready, break. After that, they break, and they go up to the line. Now, what I forgot to tell you is the quarterback. He's the most important, arguably. You know, some people say differently, but he's probably the most important position player on the field. Now, I have him listed here. Quarterback, number 1. He's the leader. He's kind of like the shot caller, leader of the pack. Kind of what happened. He's in charge of everything. He's the one in the huddle leading, and he's going to be the one to get the ball in his hands. He's essentially the playmaker. Where does he get the ball from? Now remember, we're lined up. We have offense and defense. And those players on that line, and remember the football's at the 25-yard line. The offense, defense, we have linemen that are on the line. Okay? Quarterback gets the ball from the center. The center standing over the ball and gives the ball to the quarterback. Now, once the quarterback gets the ball, there's 3 things he can do with it. He can pass. Where is he passing to? He's throwing it. He's throwing it to a wide receiver. Wide receiver. He's throwing it to them. They run along the sidelines. Okay? Aptly named, wide, and they receive the ball. Okay? Option number 2, B. Okay? He can hand the ball off to the running back. 3. The running back stands back away from the play, and the quarterback will hand the ball off to the running back, and he goes running along holding on to the ball. Option number 3, the quarterback can take the ball and run himself. You don't see this happen as much, but it still does happen. Okay, now that I've named for you some of the important positions on offense, you got the quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and center. Now what happens? The play's about to start, okay? So the quarterback gets the ball in his hands. Okay, wait, what even happens now? Alright, this is the most difficult part to understand in all of football, okay? And I'm going to try to go slow and make sure you understand it, but bear with me, it is difficult to understand, okay? We're starting on the 25-yard line. The team on offense has 4 tries to get the ball to go 10 yards, okay? 4 tries in 10 yards. Okay, so if we're starting on the 25-yard line, we're wanting to go to the 35-yard line. Okay, so remember he has those 3 options. The quarterback's got the ball in his hands. He can pass, he can run himself, or he can hand it off to the running back. Okay, so say, you've probably heard the phrase, 1st and 10. Okay, so this is their first try to go 10 yards. So say, once again, for example's sake, quarterback hands the ball off to the running back. The running back goes running, like a running back does, and he goes 4 yards. Okay, that was their first try. They went 4 yards on their first try. Okay, now they have how many yards left of that 10? They have 6 yards left, so it would be 2nd and 6. Their second try to finish out that 10. Okay, so what happens after they get that 10 yards? They've met their goal, they've gotten those 10 yards in their 4 tries, then what happens? It resets. They do it again. Then you have 4 tries to go another 10 yards, and 4 tries to go another 10 yards, and it just keeps building on itself until you get to the end zone, okay? And I talked about that a little bit in video 1. End zone, that's the goal. You want to get to the end zone. You want the ball to be caught, run into. You want the ball in the end zone. That's 6 points, and that's what you want. That's considered a touchdown when the ball is in the end zone, okay? So we've talked about our positions on offense. We've talked about what happens once the quarterback gets the ball. You have 4 tries, okay? Now I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you. Once again, tough to understand, but bear with me here. What happens if they don't get it in 4 tries? What happens if they don't get that 10 yards in 4 tries? Okay, so they've tried, and they just can't seem to get any yardage, and so now it's 4th and 10. It's their 4th try to go 10 yards. Well, if they don't choose to try to run past the examples I gave earlier, there's a punter. Okay, that's another position on the team, is the punter. And we're still got 11v11 here. And remember, this is 4th and 10. Their 4th try to get that 10 yards. They've elected not to try to go, so they've brought out special teams. Now, I know I'm throwing a whole bunch of crazy stuff at you, but special teams are that. They're special teams designed for kickoff and for punts. Okay, so now we've got those teams coming out, still 11 versus 11. And the punter, now, he's going to receive the ball from the center, and he's going to punt it to who's on offense, or who's on defense, Team A. Team A, and he's going to go, and now we've swapped. Now, that's the way to give it back to the other team. Okay, so we've talked about, in recap, we've talked about the positions, we've talked about first down and 1st and 10, trying to get that. We've also talked about what happens if you don't. Okay, one last thing I do need to mention here, scoring. Okay, I just briefly touched on touchdowns, and that's 6 points. What happens after you score a touchdown? There's a chance for an extra point. Okay, and what happens there is now you have your kicker, typically the person that we talked about, the kickoff, we have a kicker. Now what happens is you still have 11, and they line up about the 20 or the 25-yard line, and you know those big yellow things? The goal posts, okay? After you've scored the touchdown, the kicker, there's someone who, if you'll remember when I said in the kickoff there was a tee that the ball was set on. But now, for the extra point, one of the 11 players holds the ball in place. So remember, we had the center that gave the ball to the quarterback. Now we have the center that gives the ball to someone that's holding. So they'll hold the ball, and the kicker will try to kick the ball through the uprights. It's called the uprights, or through the goalpost for that extra point. Excuse me. And so then we'll have 7 points. So you had 6 from the touchdown, 1 from the extra point. So a lot of times points are grouped in 7. So you'll see the numbers counting in 7 in the game, 7 to 14, etc. Okay, that was a lot of information, and I hope you got it. Please, if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And last but not least, enjoy some college football this weekend. The more you watch, the more you're going to learn, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.